What is up, all my hope healers and hope dealers? Welcome to my YouTube channel, my PhD, my prison history diploma. I did 10 years and 8 months in Florida Department of Corrections, and I've been out for over 15 years now. Yes. Thank you for the freedom. Raise the roof for sure on that. Love my life of freedom. Freedom is our birthright. Y'all, I am gonna do a really great video today. So I've been thinking about it, and it was like a very tough decision for me whether or not to make a video about how we got weed in prison, because I'll be honest with you, I don't want to block anybody from being able to get green in prison, but you know what? This is gonna be a great video, and I'm telling you, I know how incarcerated people are. We're geniuses when it comes to getting what we need to be able to get that extra joy or peace or happiness during incarceration. So I made a decision that I'm gonna make this video, the 3 genius ways that we got weed in prison. Devil's lettuce, whatever you want to call it. You know, I mean, weed was a big thing for me during my incarceration. Once I smoked that very first joint that I bought for a box of Pop-Tarts, I told myself and my best friend, this is how we are going to do time moving forward. We are going to have weed no matter what, and this is going to help us get through the years that we have to do during our incarceration. It's just, it really was extremely helpful for me to have that green in there. I'm telling you, mentally, I firmly believe that I came out normal, somewhat normal. I don't know what normal is these days, but I came out of prison not institutionalized because I had that green to smoke, and I had freedom of the mind and freedom of the spirit, y'all, and that was a life-saving situation for me. I am so grateful that my mental health is intact, and you know, I'm so grateful for the fact that I was able to accomplish freedom of the mind and freedom of the spirit during my incarceration. So with that being said, all right, let's start off with the simple, easy one that everybody knows how it goes down: visitation. So we had this one particular pen pal. We called him Eddie Ludes. I actually met his best friend Joey, who was a pen pal of mine, and Eddie became pen pals with my best friend Lori, and that's how we all initially met. They were from another state. They actually flew down to do visitation with us. Eddie ended up falling in love with Lori, and Eddie was on both of our lists, both of our visitation lists. Joey didn't move from the other state to Florida, but Eddie did, because Eddie was so in love with Lori. He was a super cool dude. He loved me and Lori to pieces. Eddie Lude, shout out to you, dude. Thank you so much for all those times that you took risks for us. So he, obviously, Eddie was down like 4 flat tires stuck in mud, and he would bring Lori and I weed in prison, in visitation. So if Lori couldn't make it to visitation, then he would come visit me. You know, and he would grind it up real fine and tight and put it up in a bag, and you know, obviously we would get it in our body parts through visitation. Yes, they would strip search us. You know, it all has to do with your muscles, and once we got strip searched and we had to squat and cough, we came through with the green, and you know, everybody knew that was in our crew, in our clique, that when we had visitation with Eddie Ludes, we were coming back with the green, the goods, the green, the fun times, the devil's lettuce. You know, Eddie was a come through king. Love that guy to pieces, and yeah, so that is one way. Second way, number 2, way that we got it in is through the mail. So there were 2 ways, so it's going to be 2 and 3 through the mail. The number 2 way was back then, and I don't know how it is now in Florida Department of Corrections, but we could get these bubble envelopes, right? You know, if somebody was shipping something that was, required a bubble envelope, and I can't remember what else he would put in there, but what he would do, and again, it was Eddie Luz, the come through king, he would grind up the weed real fine, and he would make a, cut out the bubble wrap within the envelope, and then he would put the green at the bottom and reseal the bottom of the bubble stuff. And, the guards would pass out the mail. At mail call, we would get the bubble envelope, and there would be a sticky note that we would have to return the bubble envelope once we took out the stuff. Now, the guards were actually supposed to watch you when you opened up the bubble envelope. It's already been opened up once. We all know that the mailroom checks the mail. How they didn't see this, I guess they didn't know to look for the false bottom. We would open up the bubble envelope, and typically there's supposed to be a guard watching when you open it. If it would come to me, Lori would be the distraction for the guard, and vice versa. If the envelope came to Lori, I would be the distraction for the guard. She would grab the stuff out of the envelope, whatever you put in it, and then of course the weed from the bottom, and we would shove it right in our bra. We would return the envelope to the guard, and boom, we would have green through the mail. Genius. I mean, Eddie Luz was really good about making sure to hook us up. The third way, which was absolutely beyond genius, I mean, the false bottom on the envelope was great on the bubble envelopes. I thought it was a little bit risky. I came up with this idea. It was the greatest idea ever, less risk. Loved, and it worked out every round, although it did require investing a bit more money. But the best way that I loved through the mail was we were able to get hardback books in prison. And I don't know if it's still the same in Florida Department of Corrections, but back then we could get hardback books. So what Eddie would do was he would go to the bookstore, he would get a book, that we would actually want to read, of course, as well. And he would take the weed and he would grind it up really good. And he would open up the spine of the book, and he would put the green lined up with the spine of the book. And then he would reseal that spine after he put the weed in there in a bag. Of course, it was in a baggie. He would flatten it out, get it as flat as possible in the spine, reseal it with some super glue, and then he would take the book back to the bookstore and he would say, "Oops, I'm so sorry, this has to be mailed to inmates from the bookstore. Can y'all do it? Here's my receipt. I'll pay for the shipping." And so then the book would actually come from the bookstore. So obviously the guards were less inclined to take a deep dive into these hardback books. Return address would be from the bookstore. And the book would come to us, and Lori and I knew that if we got a hardback book, woo, we were gonna have some green in the spine of that hardback book. So lots of books went around prison with the spine and the cover missing from the book, but for very good reason. And the bonus, I'm gonna give y'all the bonus way that we got green in prison, and this did take time to build up, was through a guard. That is a whole other video in itself, because it took, some very outside the box type of thinking to get this weed in, get the guard money. It was a business, and it was a well-oiled machine. There were 3 people involved, but again, I'll make another video about that. here soon, how we got the guard to bring it in and how this guard got their money. But there is 3 genius ways that we got green in prison. And Lori and I would always have enough green where we could sell. And by the way, for those of you that have never watched my YouTube videos, Lori was my best friend during my incarceration. So her and I were not lovers or anything like that. We were absolute besties, but we were also partners in crime and everything. Like her and I, we put our brains together. We were going to make things happen. Loved that girl. She was the perfect person to be best friends with and to do these wonderful acts of kindness of getting green into prison with. We were great about knowing that loose lips sank ships. So we absolutely knew, both of us knew how to keep each other's secrets. Even when we fell out, let me tell y'all, Lori and I got into some arguments in prison, but we never, ever, ever put our business out there or turned on each other because we knew that we were gonna actually be friends again. I mean, there were times where we didn't talk for weeks. We were so upset with each other, but you know, it happens, right? I mean, you're spending a lot of time with somebody in prison and it's already very stressful in there. You're gonna have some arguments and some fallouts. But the good news is, like I said, Lori and I had a very strong friendship. So we never had to worry about one another snitching on each other. But yeah, we would get that green in and then we would have enough green to be able to sell to people as well as have our own for personal use. And we were selling $10 a joint. I will tell you all that they were little small needle beep joints, very, very, very tiny rolled joints, unless we were good friends with somebody and we were, you know, we would obviously sell them a little bit bulkier joint, I guess you would say, but we did make quite a bit of money selling joints for $10 a joint. You know, we were always known for having the best green. Eddie Ludes did not spare any expense when it came to making sure that we had good green up in there. You know, and I am very eternally grateful, literally, seriously, not even joking, to Eddie Ludes. And I'm grateful that the system never caught it because it literally helped me do my time. You know, 10 years and 8 months is quite a long time. And you know, people that think that marijuana is not a medicine, it absolutely is. And it's a beautiful natural medicine that comes from the ground and we are blessed to have it. That is my belief. You know, all my hope healers and hope dealers, I love you guys. You know, our life is good. And I was thinking about it today. And yes, I did 10 years and 8 months from, you know, 19 to 29, going into 30. You know, but never, ever did I have a negative attitude about doing time. You know, I don't regret it. I actually, I'm very grateful for the lessons that I got to learn during my incarceration. And one of the greatest lessons that I did get to learn is freedom is our birthright and we can be free no matter where we're at. It's freedom of the mind, y'all. And the second thing was to be very, very grateful for my freedom. Grateful to be able to go outside when I want to. I'm grateful that I can open my fridge and grab a sandwich in the middle of the night if I want. I'm grateful for ice water. Yum. You know, I used to have to pay for ice in prison. And you know, it would be a whole fiasco to be able to get just 1 cup of ice. So, you know, those are the things that I know to be grateful for. Freedom is our birthright, y'all. And I love all of y'all. To all my hope healers and hope dealers, thank you so much for being here. And if you guys have any questions about what goes on in a women's prison, and I can only speak about Florida, feel free to drop a comment below. Ask me a question. I am an open book. You know, as a matter of fact, here soon, I am actually going to make a video about how we masturbated in there, what homosexuality was like in there, although I did not indulge, but I was a lookout many times, you know, but I tell you guys, you know, some people that have not ever experienced having their freedom removed from them don't realize how grateful they need to be for freedom. However, also another thing is, freedom is our birthright at the end of the day. And I love all of y'all, and have a spectacular day. And like I said, coming soon, I am definitely doing a video about the officer and how we kept that business moving in a very suave, smooth, silky way as possible. That video will be coming out soon. But I love all y'all, and have a great day. Thanks.